10 o'clock this morning and we're in the Quad Cities.
After Moline, we got East Moline and Rock Island. They tried to change it to Quint Cities and no one was smart enough to know what Quint means. So we just kept it Quad Cities. Arsenal Island, it is an Army base, second largest employer in the Quad Cities, over 6,000 civilians. It's the nation's leading armament manufacturer for the Army. So it's been around since the early 1800s. It served as a Confederate prison during the Civil War, and there's actually a Confederate cemetery besides the National Cemetery over there. Confederate Cemetery has about 2,000 Confederate graves over there. Down here in the East Village, I've never heard of Weyerhaeuser lumber. Late 1800s, early 1900s. And this was a lumber mill. This was a big sawmill. The Turner Hall. The FBI actually raided that Turner Hall, and they got confiscated more illegal booze out of that building than they did on all their raids the FBI ever did. Life size from that painting, and they've got it up here in the park. Kind of a little hidden gem of the Quad Cities. A lot of people don't realize it's here. You had the Arsenal here with over about 6,200 employees. You go up the river about a mile, you got an Alcoa aluminum plant, 5,000 employees. You got a lot of industry right in this area. Anyway, Illinois has the distinction of having the second largest property taxes in the whole country.
We are in East Moline, Illinois. The weeping deer is the logo of the John Deere company. This building, there's some huge big farm equipment. Called a stock master, I suppose it cleans out the corn. Costs $1.5 million. It picks the corn, it takes the stalks out, it separates them, and they got stuff that they can compost, and they got a big machine. After they've got the corn off of it, you can see they're mowing them down.
Here, this is their carriage house. So this is where the servants lived, where they kept the horses, just in this one little house. Homes back in the day when they were built, the late 1800s, they all had organs in them. So each of these two houses have huge organs, some of the largest organs in a private residence in the whole state of Illinois.
In the 1710s or 20s by a Venetian artist, Gaspar Tiziani. We believe we have one of only 6 Venetian ceilings in the U.S. today.
This is the largest pipe organ in a private home. And they even had an island. Charles Deere's house, John Deere's son, and this is the carriage house over here. Some nice tapestries in here.
Yeah.
This was his office. Another organ, and his wife and 2 daughters played it. It's a player organ. Wallpaper is canvas and hand painted.
The ceiling, the floor, the woodwork, and even she wanted the same wallpaper. She couldn't tell the difference where one room started and the next room ended.
Just to do the china from the dining room, but this is made out of nickel, which is a little softer. Oh, and this is a dumbwaiter where they brought the food up from the kitchen down below. This was just like the butler's pantry work area. This is a Lionel 1933 train set, bigger than the one we have, which is 1944 vintage.
You did.
I took a picture of that. Okay, so we can read it.
This interesting shower was added in the early 1900s. Deluxe combination needle and shower bath. shower head. We have all of these shower heads. And there's shower heads here on the side. Property here that goes down and has a view over Mississippi is 7 acres.
You can see that was where they had their very first assembly line for tractors. This was Farmo. Because the Rock Island line doesn't have a train through here anymore. So this is the old Rock Island. You can see the clock up there. This is the old Rock Island line depot right here. North side is the arsenal. So the big stone building, that's called the clock tower. So that's the Corps of Engineers main building for the Mississippi River from here to St. Louis to St. Paul is all run out of that core building right there. They're the ones. The interesting thing too, if you come down here, this end of the Arsenal Island, every year in January, we have what's called Bald Eagle Days. This last year in the middle of January, we counted 265 bald eagles on the tip of this island. A guy called John Looney. Anyone ever watched the
NFL game was played here.
The movie Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks? That whole movie was based off a John Looney story. John Looney was one of the original mob bosses ever, right here in Rock Island, Illinois. So hang out.
Al Capone used to hang out here.
Rock Island. Now we're going over what's called our Centennial Bridge. It was named after the city of Rock Island's Centennial, built in 1944. You can see the bridge to nowhere there in Davenport, the newer bridge. It went to a gambling boat, and the gambling boat picked up their anchor and left, so the bridge is still there. You can see the big bank building with the clock on it. That's the Davenport Bank, the Wells Fargo Bank building. The tallest building in the Quad Cities right there. Work up to the second floor. But above the door, they have bronze stamping. And if you look at the top windows across the top, it's actually the story of making money. It shows them melting the coins, stamping the coins, weighing the coins, and then spending the coins. All with money stamped around on that bronze.
We learned that this is the Rock Island Arsenal, the only place in the United States that we make munitions. It's an army base.
Training base here, and they had a Confederate prisoner of war camp, and there's a Confederate cemetery over there with 2,000 Rebs in it. So it's big boys on vacation.
This is still the arsenal that was pointed out as the second largest government house in the country. The only one bigger is the White House. Here's a couple nice houses up here on the bluffs. Oh yeah, we went by that in a bus this morning, and our tour guide's friend lives in one of them, and he's looking for someone to mow his lawn. But the roadway here did have water on it. I think this bridge is about a year old, and it replaces the one they're tearing down that was only 2 lanes wide. The new one's 4 lanes. About an hour and a half north of Davenport, and we've stopped. I think we've just pulled over so that this barge can go downstream next to us. Pull over for the commercial traffic. Yep. We'll be on our way. Looks like sand or gravel. Got another dam ahead. And I've seen lots of houses since Davenport in the Quad Cities. And this whole area around the Quad Cities, we're probably beyond that now. But I think they said there was 500,000 people. They're hiding behind the trees.